Hello guys, good morning everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xa Talk Show. So today is going to be random-ish, non-technical discussion. I'm going to show you Windows setup tips, okay? My Windows setup and also some hardware. This is prompted by a question. In last video, someone asked me how did I set up my Windows taskbar. So I'm gonna talk about that, and I'm going to talk about the entirety of Windows setup, how I set up my Windows, and lots of articles. But so I'm gonna cover that, the Windows setup and the nice tools. For example, let me show you a few. Go through Windows. So here's my web page. Just go to xali.info. Okay, and you can find my website. Then there it is, the first one. Then just search and Windows, Windows tip. Just go to PowerShell, okay, and the Microsoft Windows tips. So, and there are great applications for Windows, for image viewer, for video editing, image editing, share files. What applications are the best? From my experience, I'm gonna tell you. So Windows setup, but besides that, the most important thing is keyboard, okay? Your keyboard, your mouse, your keyboard, your input devices, your microphone, if you are doing video streaming, because those are the things you touch every day. Google user, good morning. I hope you are having a good day. I'm having a good day indeed. Okay, so let's begin, okay? So Windows setup. So today, let's go to today's talk show. So I'm gonna show you lots of things. Windows setup and tools, and let me tell you. So first of all, let me tell you my my computer stuff. Okay, so I'm using the gaming computer I bought 2021 last year, and so this is $1,000. That's my gaming setup. So you can read about it, which is not bad. Okay. So I have that machine, and here are my keyboards. So you are looking at my desk. This is the Kinesis Advantage 2 I'm using, and so let me recommend to you a few good ones. Okay, so all these are keyboards I have. My favorite, my main drive is the Kinesis Advantage. Okay, and this one is also very good, Signum. But however, I never got to set it up. This got a thumb paddle, so I can show you. I don't have it set up. Thumb paddle, it's a great innovation. Okay, so all these keyboards, the ones I love the most is Kinesis Advantage 2, and this Expose. Okay, Expose is pretty cheap and very easy to get used to, and it's fantastic. Okay, I highly recommend this one if you are going to buy a ergonomic keyboard. Okay, so let me recommend some of the others, and this the Microsoft Sculpt is pretty good, but however the key, the force required for the key is too much for me, so I don't recommend it for long-term use. If you're gonna type for 1 hour, more than 30 minutes a day, I don't recommend this. But otherwise, it's pretty good. It's one of the most simple ergonomic ones. Okay. So anyway, Kinesis Advantage 2, Expose, fantastic. Okay, and okay, let me show you. So you go here to the main page, and right now I'm also using on top. You can see this one. That's the Ultimate Hacking. Fairly expensive, but this one has got the best software keyboard macros. So like I can show you, Ultimate Hacking Keyboard Agent. This is a software. This is the best, most intuitive software and the most powerful. I know many of you like QMK, but that's it's gonna take you few hours to set it up. You need to be a nerd. So anyway, so this is Ultimate Hacking Keyboard, okay? It doesn't have enough keys for me, so I use it as a keyboard macro. Okay, so I want to tell you, so I have a lot to cover. So my keyboards, my computer, okay, my computers, so that gaming keyboard, gaming computer, and I also got a MacBook Air. Mac, Windows, and Linux, which one to choose? It's a difficult decision. I tried, over the past year, so I started to use my first computer is a Mac 2 SI in 1992. I bought it. Mac 2 SI. So I've been using a Mac for up to 2009. So for almost 20 years, I'm a Mac user. And in between, I have used Windows. And by the way, I've using Unix, Solaris since 1999, working in a corporation, So I also have used Linux for a few years. So between the choices, Mac, Windows, Linux, I've been thinking which one is the best, and there's always no good answer, okay? For example, on Windows, it's a giant corporation. They suck. They don't care about your privacy. They do all nasty things, and the user's interface is one of the worst. Brainless, completely brainless Windows, okay? On the other hand, Mac is the best design in both hardware, mostly, and software, okay? Well, of course, there are few complaints. Let me show you, okay? So and Mac M1 chip is truly fantastic. It's a revolution, okay? Apple M1 chip is fantastic, but Apple, since Steve Jobs died, they got several problems, nasty, like your iPhone. When they have a new iPhone came out, they make your software slower, intentionally, so prompting you to buy a new one, and they make everything unfixable. So they try to force you to always buy a new Mac, so extremely evil. So I have an article. So let's search for evil Apple. Okay, wait, not here. Okay, so let's go to Xcode and search evil Apple. Okay, so you can watch this video. This from the famous guy, Louis Rossmann. He discussed some of the Apple things. And then, you look at Apple designs, the dongle hell, and then you have this kind of, the most idiotic design. When Steve Jobs is gone, you have this Apple Pencil, and you have this mouse plug in the back, and you have the worst keyboard, the worst keyboard possible, the butterfly. Now they phased that out. Then you have this keyboard wear, problem, extremely ugly. Then you have the touch bar, the most idiotic fuck. Apple. Steve Jobs is a great guy. He's got a vision, but after he's gone, Apple becomes design are not so good, and they actually become evil. They do all sort of things, nasty things. So Apple, but however, all things compared, all things considered, Windows, Mac, Apple is still the best user interface design in everything, in user interface, in how you use a computer, the best design. They actually thought about design, okay? So you don't have to worry about things. Everything just works. Put the computer to sleep and whatever. On the other hand, the Windows, extreme idiocy. I can go into details. So if you have comments, okay? Moonlander keyboard, okay? I'll talk about that. So Apple. So Windows, it's a corporation, it sucks they don't care about you at all. So Apple is also not so good, but Apple, the design is the best, okay? If you just want to get things to work, you have a job, Apple is still the best. Then there's Linux, ideally Linux is the best because it's open source, it's free, you don't have to pay, and every code is, if you are a programmer like me, you can look at the code, you can modify. But Linux is actually, when you use it, it's worse than Windows. Okay, it's worse than Apple's and worse than Windows. Hey, thank you, Oflamio. So why did Apple servers go extinct? Okay, I can tell you that. So Windows, so Linux is the worst. Then you got a bunch, thousand, then an army of the Linux fanboys, like lots of you guys gonna tell you, oh, Linux open source, fucking idiots. The Linux is the worst extreme fuck in design, in whatever. Then you have distros, oh, this distro, you're gonna, if you don't care about your time, like if you are a student, you are a youngling, a student, you got nothing to do, you just go to online and post memes and crap. Yeah, Linux is great. But if you got a family, or if you are run a business, or if you are you become adult, Linux is worst crap. Okay, in every way, because I'm a programmer, so I know the Linux technology. I've been sysadmin on Solaris since 1998, okay, 1999. But even if you know all the knowledge about programming, about the kernels, about the memory, about the configuration. For example, I have a, so you search for Xali Linux tutorial, so you can find, 500 tutorials or everything you need to know about Linux. So here, this section, this chapter is all about keyboard setup on Linux, shift lock, caps lock, change caps lock to control or escape or whatever. And then you have so here's the Linux key binding tutorial. Then you have the Linux by command line. So even if you know all these, you are a nerd, but when you use Linux, when you want to set some keys, some macros, it's it's the most difficult between Windows and Mac and Linux. Okay, I have an article on that. Just search for. I'm not gonna show it because we got a lot to talk about today. So in the past few years, I've been thinking, maybe there is a reason, a solid reason that I can say, okay, Linux actually is the best choice today, or Mac or Windows. I cannot, you can't just find a reason. Like all this they all have problems. By the way, another advantage on Windows is that you can play games. If you are a gamer, of course, a lot of you young people are. Gaming is a big industry, but some of you, the Mac fanatics or the Linux fanatics, idiots, they will say, oh, but you can also play games on the Mac. Look, because that here's a list of games. You fucking idiots, okay? If you are really playing games, if you really want to be a gamer, your only choice is Windows, okay? And you need to buy a Windows gaming machine, like I showed before. Okay, so between Linux, Mac, and Windows. So first of all, let me finish talking about. So MacBook Air is pretty good. M1 chip is great. Okay, read my articles. M1 chip. Watch these videos. This is my choice. After watching many. So these are great videos. So M1 chip. So I have this computer, and then let me show you other. So I also have this one. This is like 6 years old. Microsoft Surface Pro tablet. It's okay. Okay, I wouldn't say I recommend it. It's not bad. Okay, but it's okay. So you can, one of the advantage this computer introduced me 5 years ago is that you can write on it, which is great. Pen computing, especially if you are doing math, if you are, taking notes, you just need this. So it's not too bad. Okay, Windows Surface Pro. Okay, so what else do I have? So let me go over. Okay, so keyboard I talked about. So I, Kinesis Advantage and Get Exposed. Okay, it's all on my website. Then let me show you some other I might recommend. Okay, so let me show you some others I can recommend. So you can just go to Best Ergonomic Keyboards, pick. So these are the few I highly recommend. I recommend the most. Okay, so So there's a question about Moonlander. Okay, so let me explain. I talked about this many times in my past video. So Moonlander is this one. Okay, so Moonlander, they are a next generation of the Kinesis of the Ergodox. Okay, so if you look at the Ergodox, did I mention it? So these photos are from Christian. Christian is in our Discord club, Discord forum, SAC Discord, and he bought it. So this is Christian Tietze's blog. Okay, so anyway, so Moonlander, they are a improvement of Ergodox. Do I have a link to Ergodox? I should. Oh yeah, so the problem with Ergodox is that you have the thumb keys is kind of too far, so you have to move your thumb outwards too much, and that for some people that caused thumb pain. So so this is another improvement. You can see they move the thumbs much closer. This one is modified Ergodox. Yeah, and there's so then there's the Verge. Anyway, this one is 5 years old. I'm not sure they still make it. So in the keyboards, lots of things change. So you can see they modified the thumb keys, so it's closer to your hand. Okay, so that's one way to fix it. But then the company that makes Ergodox easy created this Moonlander, a variation. The new innovation, if we call it that, is that you have the adjustable thumb pad, which to me is not too useful. They did not fix the thumb too far problem, the thumb keys too far problem, because if you compare side by side with, there it is, Ergodox. If you compare side by side with Ergodox, they didn't really fix the thumb problem. So I have not used this keyboard, so I cannot tell you really exactly how I feel about it. Okay, but just by looking at the design, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so that's my opinion about Moonlander. So so if you have a question for me, put my name to it. Okay, and so let me get on to the other things. Okay, so keyboards and ultimate hacking. So my mouse, as you can see, you cannot see, but I can. There it is, my mouse. Okay, so I use a hover click. Just search for XR hover click. This is the best ergonomic way to operate your computers. Okay, okay, let me show you. XR hover click. Okay, I said this many times in my video. So you have hover click for Linux. I show you how to do it. So let's go back to talk show and paste the link here. So okay, so you have the how to set up hover click on Linux. Then you have how to do it on the Mac. Auto click on the Mac. It's auto click. It's called Drell. Okay, so this is how. So I highly recommend it. So you never have to click. You never have to click again. That creates your hand problems. So for example, for me, I don't even do Alt tab crap. Like Alt tab and look which one it is and stop and I overshoot. Don't do that. Okay, so hover click is the best. Okay, on the Mac, and then on Windows. On Windows you have so did we copy that? Yes. So here is how you set it up on Windows. Okay, so let's copy that. Okay, make a link. Okay, so hover click. Now let's go back to close that. Yeah, so that's my mouse. Okay, then what else? So I also have this one. This one is wireless. It's pretty good, but I prefer I prefer this one, G502 Logitech, because the mouse buttons, although it's got fewer mouse buttons, by the way, it's got a spin wheel. It's the best thing, okay, spin wheel. I talked about this many times. Essential, okay, this is essential. It spins for like 30 seconds. Okay, so the buttons on this mouse, Logitech G502, is lighter than the G604. So otherwise, if they are the same force, then I would probably prefer this one, wireless. But this thumb keys is got more, you know, you have to press it harder. So anyway, I use this one wireless when I'm lying in bed. So okay, so that's my mouse. So close that. So let me show you also, I got this trackball. So if you like trackball, if you like thumb, there are two type of trackball. So one type is index finger operated, for example, all these, and the other type is thumb operated. Okay, for example, that many of these are thumb operated. Now, finger operated is better, okay, if you're gonna buy one, and I recommend, so all these are top recommendations, actually, the ones I put a thumb up are highly recommended by a lot of people. When it comes to trackball, there's no one absolute agreement on which one is the best. But however, there are top 5 also. People agree they are the best, okay? For example, some would say this is the best. Some would say this is the best. L-Track or the Kensington Expert. Some would claim actually Sling Blade is the best. Some would be happy with the Ergonomic Huge. And this Adesso is not highly recommended. So anyway, so if I've read literally, thousands of reviews. Like I go to Amazon, I read every comments or other websites. Geek Hack and whatever. So I've read all the reviews out there. Most of them. Thousands of them, literally over the years. So there's no absolute agreement on which one is the best. Okay. So but this one, the ones I put a thumb up, those are good, okay? And generally speaking, the bigger the ball, the better they are, okay? And this one is also very good, okay? That one, the Kensington Orbit, okay? This one, it's also excellent. But I got the cheap ones. I bought this one, thumb, not so good, okay? I mean, if you want thumb balls, it's pretty good, but I would rather buy, if I'm gonna buy again, I would probably buy this one instead. Okay, so that's about my trackball. And okay, so next, trackball, and so drawing tablet is fantastic. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you maybe. So you can see drawing tablet. Okay, so I bought, today there are tons of reviews on everything. So you guys probably are familiar with a few, they review mouse or trackball or microphone. So you can you see my microphone? So this is my microphone. They review speakers, headphones, much better than me. They have fancy gears, each one is like $200, $300, so if you have money, you probably go to them. But if you don't have much money, if you are a student, then you do like me. So I give you the best choices for the cheap ones. So this one, so you are looking at, this is a Huiyang writing tablet. Okay, I have demonstrated before in my video. So you can write Chinese. Okay, so I can launch. So anyway, so it's a cheap one. It's pretty good. Okay, it works on Windows, but if you are on the Mac, it doesn't work so great. Okay, on Windows it works, and on Linux it also works. For example, there's a guy who due to my recommendation, he bought this one used, and he's using Linux, so this also works fine. Huion, you know. But as far as I know, on the Mac it doesn't work so well because I've used on the Mac. So on the Mac you probably want Wacom. So anyway, so I'm just gonna talk about the ones I actually have. Okay, so drawing tablet is great. Is great, especially if you take notes. Okay, it becomes essential. Wait, what is this? So let me show you what is. So let me talk about the drawing tablet software. Okay. Okay, I'll get to it. So let me show you. So if you want an external drive, this one is the best. Okay, I have it. I have it somewhere. So for backups, this is a flash drive. Fantastic. Okay, get this one. So that's that one. And microphone, I got this cheap one, China. $40, $30 or something, which is what I'm using now. Can you see? Let's see. You can kind of see. Okay, so, but then I read, a bunch of reviews. All these ones are highly recommended. Some of them are cheap. Some of them are, $200 or something. Okay, so that's about microphone. Then speakers, so speakers, I was using this one. You see this one. This is Creative Pebble USB speakers. It works nice, but after one year, it broke. The left speakers no longer works for strange reasons. I don't know. I thought maybe it's a connection. That's weird because I never touched the connection. I thought maybe it's not well connected or something, but I cannot figure it out. So the left speakers broke, just doesn't work anymore after a year. So I went to the local shop and bought this cheap Logitech, $20, $30. Okay, and right now I'm using it. It's okay. Okay. So, but if you have money, of course, then you want high grade, expense $300, $400, $1,000. So I have a friend, I do break the loop, who recommended to me a few because he looked at high end speakers. So these are whopping $600. Okay, so you guys can buy it and buy it for my website. Okay, so speakers, then headphones. Okay, so I have some headphones. So that's my router, typical standard routers. I got, I can't say it's good or bad, but it's, router and modem, cable modem for, I'm using Comcast Xfinity. So you need a cable modem and you need a wireless router. Okay, so what else? And barefoot shoes, this is a strange thing for most people, so I like this shoe. The thing about bare feet shoes is that, modern shoes, for example, Nike, sneakers, running shoes, they have they have thick pad at the bottom. So, you think, it's pretty new. It's, only happened in the last 50 years. So the idea is that, because it's got thick soles with high technology, Nike Air or whatever, it protect shocking and, shock absorbent and all that. But it turns out actually it may harm your feet. Okay, because the way, the thick bottom modifies the way you walk or run. So the idea is that actually you will be better to have a flat shoe that doesn't have thick bottom, actually very thin bottom. So that's what about this flat shoe. So this is a cheap one, $30 or $40. I wear, it's very good. I've been, using it for a year and it's a bit broken. So So I'm going to buy a new one. And then I bought this one too, recommended by George from our Discord. Okay, so anyway, so Shu, and let me talk about the desk. Okay, this desk, this my favorite desk is just this utility folding desk. This is the best desk for nerds. Okay, most practical and the lightest and the most sturdy. Okay, utility desk. That, and I like my desk big, big. I don't like, those just tiny ones. I cannot work with those. I want the, like right now I have my desk is like over 5 meters, 5 meters wide. So utility, and this is our Reaper. He and Alan drew this. Alan, Alan used to be frequent on our Discord, and so anyway, so yeah, so some desk recommendations. So okay, so let's go back. So let's how long have I been talking? 30 minutes. Okay, so then next okay, now those are the hardware stuff. Now let's talk about setting up Windows. Okay, let me recommend to you some of the applications for Windows and stuff. Okay, let's put it back to my keyboard. Okay, so Windows. So go to my website, Saudi Microsoft Windows tips. So the first section is all about technical. So if you are a programmer, you want to, or if you are a technical person working on Windows, you want to read these sections. So I have the entire PowerShell tutorial. By now it's over like 50 pages. Okay, I would say this is the best PowerShell tutorial. I've been working with PowerShell for over a year now, almost every day. So I dug, so, as you know, I'm a programming language expert. You can call me that. I study programming languages. So now I have been actually using PowerShell for over a year and study all the details. I would say it's much better than Bash, but it's fairly complex. Okay. So anyway, I'm not gonna talk about PowerShell today. So if you are on Windows and if you are a programmer, then PowerShell, you must get to know it. Okay, because you want to use PowerShell instead of Bash, because you want to use native. The native technology is always better than foreign or imported ones. So if you're on Windows, PowerShell is a must. Okay, if you are a programmer working on Windows or working with Windows Tech, PowerShell is a must. So learn it. Okay, read my tutorial. It's I would say, at least in my opinion, it's the best tutorial out there for PowerShell. Concise and technical and example based. Okay, and I give you the technical concept so that you can, once you know it, you know everything about the system, the PowerShell, the environment, how it works. So then the Windows environment tutorial is critical. Then registry tutorial is also critical on Windows, what it is, and of course then you can start to use PowerShell to program to modify registry, and similarly for environment variables, you can use you can start to use. Let me show you. So you can start to use PowerShell to modify environment variables. Okay, so those are, and Windows Terminal is the latest. Microsoft created Windows Terminal about 3 years ago. So this is so you can look at it here. So that's Windows Terminal. Okay, it's better than the old. For example, let me show you the old Windows Console. So both of them are running PowerShell, but this one with the blue background is the Windows Console, and this one, let me open a new tab. So you can have tabs. This is you are looking at the Windows terminal. Okay, which has Unicode support. For example, let me show you. So So you might be wondering what's the difference. Lots of better features, Unicode support. So let's go to web xali info, okay? Then cd2 comp, okay? So the okay, so I want to display the content of a file. So okay, moved. So what is the, no, it's not moved. So you can see you are looking at emoticons in PowerShell. I mean in Windows terminal, okay? But if you do it here, they won't show, okay? So I can, okay, Unicode. Okay, so here are all the emoticons, and in Emacs, let's launch the current directory into the Windows console PowerShell. And now let's do cat the same. Let's magnify cat. So what is the file name? Unicode emoticons. So you can see they don't show. So one of the feature of the Windows terminal is it shows emoji, okay? That's great. Okay, so let's see what else. So you want to use Windows terminal, okay? So that, get that. Then, okay, so those sections are technical sections. Then you have what's the best Windows application, what's the Windows keyboard, everything you need to know about setting up keys and key markers on Windows. So here are everything you need to know, you want to know about it. It's here. For example, what softwares you need to do. So I'll just recommend Microsoft Power Toys, okay, get that. So you can see I have it installed here. Let me launch it. So you can configure your keyboard, okay? So that's, so Microsoft Power Toys, okay? So one of them is Keyboard Manager. So you can see, you can set up shortcuts and so on, remap keys. And the other tool I recommend is AutoHotkey. So AutoHotkey is more general purpose. It do lots of things. So it's like a scripting language to control user interface. So I have a tutorial here you can read, okay? So, okay, that's about Windows keyboard. And also you can, about how to single click to open file. We talked about how to hover to activate window. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Disable sleep button, sometimes useful because when you get a PC, like one time I got a PC and it's installing something, and by mistake there's a sleep key. I hit that by mistake, and that fucked up that fucked up the installation. I have to reboot, and so you can disable sleep button. Okay, so things like that. Okay, so let's get back to other things. So let me show you some of the great okay, so I think that's it for today. So how long have I been talking? 40 minutes, okay. So actually, so we have a lot to cover. So the guy asked me about Windows. How did I set up my Windows taskbar? Okay, there's not much to talk about, but I can tell you. So first of all, you want to do, that's what I do. Doesn't matter it's on Windows or on Linux or on Mac. I systematically explore every options. For example, on Windows, you just press Windows I to launch this, the settings. Then you systematically go through each and every one of them. For example, so night light settings. So let's turn it on. So if I turn it on, it's gonna be reddish. So it's gonna be, you can, systematically explore every buttons and wheels and knobs. Okay, that's what I do. And sound and Windows sucks. All these options very confusing. Like you have no idea what they do. Then also, they have like spider links. Then when you comes to an item you don't know, look up on the web. So let me turn back the night settings. The night settings on Windows, it also sucks. Okay, sometimes it doesn't turn on. Sometimes it doesn't turn on. Idiotic Windows. And on Linux, by the way, I must say on Linux it's worse. Okay, I'm getting tired. So let me. So the guy who asked me about the taskbar, there's nothing to. So you go to, the personalization, and there's a taskbar. It's very confusing, by the way. But I've been using Windows 10 for, now you see what the fuck. I've been using Windows 10 for 3 years now, so I'm familiar. So you go to here. So here's how you set up taskbar. Just check out every option. Then combine taskbar, never. I tried them all, like sometimes for a week. All the possible options and combinations. Then you have the notification area. Then you have the system icons on and off. Very confusing, idiotic. Okay, you just try them. Okay. Anyway, so I'm not gonna talk about much about it. So let me read about about spyware. I can tell you. You go to privacy and turn everything off. I did. And you also you can search the web, just search Windows 10 or Windows 11 privacy. Then some nerds will tell you how to turn everything off. But actually you don't need to, because you can actually just basically everything they said is all here. Okay, all you have to do is systematically explore everything. So I have like everything off. Their user interface design is very idiotic. For example, this location is turning off your location. Okay, then instead of a button like that, they have this special. You have to click to change. Then you can turn it on. Maybe you think this is like a nuke button, so you have some protection before you accidentally click it. It doesn't make sense. Idiotic. You have to click this first, then turn it on, then click somewhere to get off. It's idiotic. Okay, Windows user interface design, and this. I can talk an hour. I have a full set of articles about Windows user interface design. So camera I needs to be on. Then check everything. So most of my things is off. Like I have everything off, especially notification. Notification is the Malaysian Zoomer thing. Turned everything off. No notification at all. Oh, I have it on for some reason. But the problem with turning everything off is that then, when you want to chat with your friends or your family or whatever, then you got into a problem because you forgot which settings must be on. Then it's hell. That's the problem. And you know why? They intentionally make this confusing on Windows. By the way, on Linux is worse, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so they intentionally, I know, because after 30 years of experience with Windows or whatever, Adobe, Macromedia, Flash back then, and many websites like Twitter, Facebook, those are scums. Okay, Twitter, Facebook. They'll say, oh, we care about your privacy. We listen to what you say. So today we come roll out with a new, preference setting so you can crap. That's all lies. Okay, ultimately that's what they do. They intentionally make everything very complex. So if you can go and set everything off, But then what happens is that when you need to chat, using a microphone, then it becomes impossible. You forgot, which settings exactly you need. They make it that way. So they essentially they want to make it so that for most people, non-computer, non-technical people, you just leave everything on, so your window works. It needs not to be that way, but they make it so that they make you think it needs to be that way because technology, that's why it's so complicated. That's not true. Okay. Anyway, Windows. By the way, every time I flame about Windows, I need to make sure the Linux fuckheads, like many of you, because you'll say, oh, but Linux, why don't you use Linux? Because it's it's worse. Okay, it's almost worse than every way. Okay, Linux. I've been using Unix, and my first Linux is 1998 MK Linux. Okay, you guys are not born yet. Linux is worse in just about every way. So when is Linux your best operating system? Okay, if you are a programmer, if your profession is programming, and if your environment is open source programming languages such as Python, Ruby, JavaScript, web dev, okay, then Linux is the best. And also, provided that you don't play games, and you don't do video editing, and you don't do audio, like you don't chat with your family much. Okay, if you are just a teen, if you are a student, college student, you got nothing to do every day. You just blah 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 and fuck around every day, and you love open source. Yeah, if that's the case, you don't do video editing. You need to make professional presentation or whatever. Then Linux, that's the best environment. Okay, no games. And also you don't have money. Yeah, that's the best environment. That's when Linux is the best. Okay. So what else to talk about? So I think that's it for today. So let me read the comments. I'm getting tired. Been sitting here for like 3 hours. And I'm thirsty. I need my drink. Okay, so how long is it? 50 minutes. Okay, so let's see what's the comment, and that's it for today. So, is there anything, questions for me? Post my name to it, okay, right now. And is there anything I want to talk about? So here are all the tips, okay. And this is this is a problem on Windows. Let me tell you this example, okay? So for example, on Windows, not Linux, on Windows you can set your background image. You can set your background image, but however, now and then you'll notice that your background changed by mistake. Like if you are taking photos, your private photos, your bedroom photos, all of a sudden you notice it's your background login image. What the fuck? That happens by accident. I don't even know how it happens, but it happens apparently frequently. Happened to me a few times, like 3 times in the past year. And if you look online, apparently it happened to other people. You don't know why, but suddenly some pictures becomes your login screen, okay? Then, of course, you want to delete it. What the fuck? Then you discover there's no way. It is impossible to delete them. You extreme idiocy, Microsoft. So I dug around. So this is what happens. So it's not easy, okay? It's not easy to delete them. Okay, so here's some of my backgrounds, especially login screen. That's important. You don't want your private photos becomes the login screen, okay? So I look around. There's no easy way. Even if you are a programmer, you've been Unix, Linux admin for 20 years. Me, it's not easy. So I have an article telling you how to do that. After spending an hour or two looking around, it's very complex. Okay, so actually the most easy way is actually just to add more photos. Okay, because it keeps about 5 or 10. I forgot how many. The Microsoft, what they do is that they grab the photo and they put a copy of your photo into some special private location that you cannot access. Okay, you cannot access it. They make a copy of it, so you cannot even delete it, and it's hard. You have to change the folder owner and stuff, and it's not easy to do on Windows. Even if you know PowerShell, I know PowerShell for a year now. It's not easy. You cannot just do it with PowerShell. Maybe you thought, oh, I'm a PowerShell master. I'm a tech nerd. So I'll just PowerShell, remove some file, change change mod like the Linux idiot, then remove those. No, you cannot do it. And by the way, Linux is worse in lots of situations. So the easiest way, if you accidentally put a photo in your lock screen, is actually just add more photos, like click browse and add more photos. That will erase previous one. That's the easiest way. So that's one of the Windows problems, and it's got 10,000 more problems. Windows sucks. Why? Because they actually don't care, because the team, whatever, Windows 10, Windows 11, they have pretty boys coming out. News, Windows 11 is coming out. Oh, and then bunch of idiots, Linux tech tips, and others, nerds, they're gonna review YouTube. Is Windows 11 better or not? Fucking idiots. It's like, it's not even a question to review or not. It sucks donkey ass the most apparent way. For example, to this day, you still have Windows control panels, okay, and many of these things that comes out with a tiny font. For example, let's say these, okay. What's some good examples? That many of these, almost all of them, okay, it comes out with a tiny font. You cannot, like normally, you can hold down Control and roll the mouse to increase font size, or you can set the font size by this way, okay? But that they have no effect on these windows. Especially this one. This is a good example. File Explorer options. This is the option to change your, change the font size and size. For example, okay, change the folder view preferences. Then I have a 23-inch screen, but I'm forced into this tiny claustrophobic fuck. Each word, it's impossible to change the font size. I cannot see. And it gets worse, the claustrophobic, these little windows. This interface is almost 30 years old. But they have shiny Windows 10, Windows 11. So how do I want to, if I want to show folders, that the name begins with a dot. How do I do it? You have to go through this. No other way. Like hide empty, this is an insult. So is Windows 11, they designed the whole thing? No, you still have this. You have tons of them, actually, all over the place. So it's a fucking lying scum. It's not like even worth. It's not even valid to say you have new interface. Oh, better design, my ass. This is because this is a fundamental preference, to control the folder view. They didn't change it, So it's just all scam and scum. And also Linux is worse, okay, worse. But Mac is just supremely beautiful, easy to change, and but of course Apple have its own problems, evil, you know, you know, stuff. Pretty sad, okay? Pretty sad situation. So, okay, I'm done today. So what I was, yeah. So what else? So I was going to go through many great applications on Windows, but I think that's it for today. Okay, I'm gonna just read comments and that's it. Bye, guys. Coffee House, okay. Super Chat. Why no Mac servers? Okay, you guys. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Why no Mac servers? Let me answer that question. Mac. Well, the simple answer is that there's no market for it. Because if you want to run a server, which is very technical, if you are running a website like Amazon, so if you want to run a server, basically you go with Linux or BSD, free server. The Linux is much more geared for servers because that's the industry. Basically, if you want to set up a server, run, server software, that means you are a programmer, you are a professional, a programmer. Linux, the Mac OS, yeah, it's pretty robust. You can run a server with it, but there's no market because 99.99 people, they just use Linux because over there you have 10,000 times bigger community, you have bigger support. Oh yeah, for example, or Google and much of Microsoft or Google, Amazon, they are all running Linux or BSD, like 1% maybe. Netflix, Amazon, all the major websites, they are all Linux. So Linux becomes, just by convention, almost like convention, it becomes the standard, So Apple, they tried, they like, but beginning around 19, basically nobody use it. You have to pay, by the way, the Mac server. So there are two questions. So what do you mean Mac server? So one is the Mac server hardware. Apple used to sell, the Mac hardware for running servers with. Then there's also Mac OS 10 running a special version of Mac OS 10 designed for running servers. So both of them basically died. Nobody used it. Okay, so that's what they died like 10 years ago. Because even when they were around, nobody is using them. I have actually admined macOS servers, helping a professor in academia. So that is why. So what else? Anything else? Interesting questions or doing so or Flamio? What about Vim and Emacs? Yeah. I don't recommend LSP servers at all. Okay, so as you know, I'm a Emacs user, but I do not recommend any LSP. If you want to use LSP, go to Open VS Code. Go to VS Code. There you run LSP. If you are running Vim or Emacs, I don't recommend LSP, especially Emacs, because it kills Emacs. Emacs Lisp, the core, I talked about this in one of my video actually for half an hour. The core power of Emacs is the Emacs Lisp language. But LSP is fucking it up. LSP is running someone else's language on some other people's computer. LSP. Well, actually, on your own computer, because anyway, I don't recommend LSP. Okay, don't use LSP if you are using Emacs. Okay, so I don't care about software minimalism. I don't care about all those philosophies. Actually, I am kind of minimalist. What I care the most is functionality. Two things, okay? Functionality and efficiency. These two things I care the most in software user interface in particular, okay? So, for example, I do not like the tiling Windows managers, not because they are not functional. Well, basically because they are not the most efficient and the most functional. Okay, they claim, the Linux fanboys, the Linux fanatics, the Linux idiots. They, many of them, many of you too. They want to, Linux distro and tiling Windows managers. They claim, okay, if you care about the functionality and efficiency, then, tiling Windows Manager is the best. Okay. So their goal is the same as mine, except I'm actually more extreme. I only care about functionality. I don't care about the looks, okay? For example, my Emacs setup is the most simple possible. I don't want even themes. I don't want color fucking themes, okay? So it appears that their goal is the same as mine. The most functional and the most efficient, okay? But for my analysis, actually the window tiling manager is not efficient and not functional compared to my setup. Fucking idiots, in fact. And also they don't like to use mouse. You read, the same kind of people, the community, tiling window manager or Linux people, they hate the mouse. Actually, I have more than two. I have more mouse. I have a mouse and plus a tablet. That's more efficient, okay? For example, you see this, no mouse click, okay? Can I talked about this so many times. You see this, no mouse click, okay? So I want to switch applications, no control tab idiocy. All these tiling window managers, most of them are still using control tab. Let me show this. Wait, did I get it right? What? Oh yeah, Alt, not Control tab, Alt tab. Okay, so they are doing this. These tiling window managers, they are all still doing this. They are brainless. Brainlessness is their thing. They just drivel. They are teenagers. They are young people. Why do you need a mouse? Because the mouse is the most efficient. For example, you see that? It's better than your fucking idiotic page up and down. Oh, oops! For example, I want to look at this image. Oops! I want to see the whole thing, but now I need to arrow up so I can see the fucking idiocy. Okay. Now, on the other hand, look at the other way down. My hand is here, okay? Oh, there's an image, okay? There, I can see the whole thing, okay? I don't have, so if I want full screen, okay, macro, okay? Keyboard macro, you see? Back to what this application, now back to the chat, you see? I don't have to press, I exert the minimal human energy to do things, to do exactly the things you need to do. Okay, that's too much rant. That's it. Bye, guys. Okay, pay me, okay? Donate Patreon. I don't want to set up, YouTube membership, those elaborate things. Membership. Please like my video. Please thumb up. That helps a lot. Fuck YouTube. So if you like my stuff, pay me. If you pay by, this super chat, Google takes like 30% or something. So I sell, I have links on my website. my Patreon or PayPal, the money goes to me. They take like a few dollars, But anyway, PayPal, Amazon, PayPal, Amazon gift card, or Bitcoin. And I sell my Emacs tutorials. It's all free online, by the way. Unlike some other people, Emacs, they are good guys. They don't swear. All these other YouTuber tech, especially the programmers on the Emacs community, they don't swear. They don't offend people. They also sell tutorials, Emacs tutorial, but they charge $40 more than mine, and they don't cover as much. But then they they don't. They are nice people. They not unlike Sa. Sa is bad because he swear fucking. Sa is crazy. They are nice, but it's not free. They are open source. They support open source. Help the world. Unlike Sa, who is like fuck the open source all the time. Sa is crazy, but they support open source. But their tutorial is not free. Meanwhile, you go to Reddit, Emacs, everyone is just, best tutorial is there. They don't mention mine because I'm offensive, because fuckheads, hypocrites. But apparently that's how the world goes. That's why the world, the world we see, it becomes that way. All the big companies behave that way. That's because that's how they actually. That's how human animals, our behavior turns out to be that way. Bye. Okay, shut down in 1 minute. Shut down in 1 minute. Close evil apple. Okay, so did I actually have the links in my? So let's copy the links. What is this emoji? Okay, so copy. So look at the efficiency. Okay, so show the pink window. The pink window shows all my command calls. Subcode Linux by command line. Okay, and we also covered Linux key binding tutorial. Evil Apple, Apple. So between Apple and Mac and Windows, there's no one criteria you could say that which one you should use. They are all pretty bad. Okay, that's it. Bye guys. Thank you for watching.